A grey, silver and black racing bike is found abandoned on a quiet road on the outskirts of Darwin. There is no sign of the teenager who rode it out there. That is where Nathan McLaughlin's story begins to unravel, and where, more than 30 years later, his mother is still searching for answers. Hi everyone, I'm Ebony and welcome back to True Crime with Ebony Rose, where I mainly focus on Australian true crime cases, missing persons cases, and unsolved mysteries. Today we're looking at the disappearance of Nathan McLaughlin. It's a case that has remained largely unknown for more than 30 years, despite there being many questions that still surround his disappearance. There is surprisingly very little information regarding any search efforts after Nathan went missing, but I feel like it's a story that needs to be shared. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps support the channel and, more importantly, helps keep these cases like Nathan's in the public eye. Now let's begin with Nathan's story. Nathan McLaughlin grew up in Moil, a quiet established suburb of Darwin. He attended Berrimah Christian School but left during year 10 after struggling with depression. Over the next few years, he worked several different jobs before deciding to give school another shot. He enrolled part-time at Casuarina High School to complete year 11 and 12, which was only just up the road from his house. His first year back was a success. He earned strong grades and seemed to be moving in the right direction. But over the Christmas holidays, something shifted. When his second year began, Nathan struggled to keep up. By Easter, he had left school once again. His mother, Lois, believes the pressure of trying to maintain these high grades became overwhelming and his depression returned. To people who met Nathan, he came across as polite, friendly, and genuinely personable. He was a competitive swimmer, and references from his swim club described him as respectful and courteous. But at home, Lois says she noticed another side beginning to emerge. As his depression shifted, she remembers him becoming increasingly frustrated and angry, and family life became more difficult. Looking back now, it's clear Nathan was carrying far more than many people realized. The last time Lois saw Nathan was on the evening of the 17th of March 1994, and it was a Thursday. The two of them stood together on the back steps of the family home, watching the sunset over Darwin. Nathan rested his arm across his mother's shoulders. Later, Lois would describe it as a beautiful, beautiful moment. She has since come to believe it was his way of saying goodbye. Sometime during that night, Nathan left home on his grey, silver and black racing bike. He was wearing shorts, a t-shirt, thongs and a long-sleeved American military camouflaged jacket. Lois didn't become concerned until dinner the following evening, when Nathan missed dinner, and he never missed dinner. When he still hadn't returned home, she and her husband went downstairs to his self-contained bedroom. They found something deeply unsettling. Nathan had carefully left behind his bank account details and passwords, positioned so they would be found. In that moment, they knew something was terribly wrong. Almost every Sunday, he would disappear for hours to an old rifle range near Secrett Road in Berrimah. It was an open stretch of bushland overlooking the surrounding hills. Sometimes he went with friends, collecting spent bullet casings scattered across the area. At the time, Lois believed it was simply a hobby. Looking back now, she wonders whether those regular trips may have been for another purpose. She believes Nathan may have quietly been leaving supplies in the bush, preparing for the night he eventually left. Now, it's only a theory, but she feels fit with who her son was. Nathan had been bushwalking with his father since he was 6 years old. He knew how to survive outdoors and was comfortable spending long periods alone. Reflecting on his personality over the years, Lois has also wondered whether Nathan may have been autistic without ever receiving a diagnosis. Sometimes that was frequently overlooked in the early 1990s. She believes his depression became so overwhelming that retreating into the bush, the place where he had always felt most at peace, may have seemed like his only escape. Nathan's racing bike was eventually found abandoned on Secrett Road in Berrimah, not far from the old rifle range he had visited so many times before. Beyond that discovery, the public record becomes remarkably sparse. There are no detailed reports of a large-scale search operation, very few contemporary police statements, and little documentation showing exactly what efforts were made in the days after Nathan disappeared. For a missing teenager in 1994, where there was no obvious evidence of foul play, that unfortunately wasn't unusual. Cases like Nathan's often received limited media attention and generated very little lasting documentation. Perhaps that's one of the reasons his disappearance has remained largely unknown for more than 3 decades. Today, Northern Territory Police still list Nathan McLaughlin as a missing persons, and Crime Stoppers Northern Territory continues to periodically share his case in the hope that someone may finally come forward. 30 years have passed and Nathan McLaughlin has never been found. No one has ever been charged because there has never been any evidence suggesting a crime occurred. There is simply a young man who disappeared into the Northern Territory bush one night, a mother who has spent decades trying to understand why. Lois's beliefs about what have happened are exactly that, her beliefs. They are not confirmed facts or medical conclusions. Instead, they reflect a painful reality faced by so many families of missing people, forced to piece together fragments of the past because the answers never came. If someone out there knows something, no matter how small it may seem, it could still make a difference. Crime Stoppers Northern Territory accepts anonymous information. Sometimes it's the smallest forgotten detail, the memory someone has carried for 30 years, that finally helps bring a family one step closer to the truth. If you made it this far, thank you so much for spending this time with me and remembering Nathan McLaughlin. If you found this video informative, please consider giving a thumbs up and subscribing to join our community. Every like, every share, and every conversation helps keep cases like Nathan's in the public eye. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.